nobody really says they know they're gay men and women, and then there's just really flamboyant, gay men that everybody accepts from the bond, they gay. So, we have those are our
You
I
know,
think,
that's the
qualifications.
that is the real classifications
Classifications,
right
yeah.
here in St. Kitts because oh he get from he born.
Yeah.
We never identify a little girl though.
No, we never do. And the hypocrisy of it is, then how are you judgmental? If you know that person was born in that way, then why are you now judging them for the thing that you knew they were always that thing? And you're like, well, they choose that, but you knew. Like, did they choose it when they were two? Like, did they choose it? And I think we have to talk about. The down low in our society. And what I thought was interesting when you were talking earlier about the Caribbean HIV Alliance is I think that a lot of blame goes on the LGBTQ community for the transmission of disease, especially HIV. And I think because there was so much focus, that a lot of people had that as a source of negativity and blame. But in reality, that's really not the truth. It's just the people's perception.
And again, we always try to find someone other than ourselves
To blame.
to blame.
Yeah, definitely.
That's as simple as it is, really. Let's talk about you personally coming out. Like, what was that like? Because we know, not just for us being gossipy or fast, but we know that there are persons out there who are struggling to come to grasp as to how to move forward with their own identity. Like, so let's make it relatable.
All right, for me, coming out, I could say it was easy and it was still a bit difficult. At a very young age, I was always attracted to like boy stuff, boy sports and everything like that. And at a very young age, actually, I used to like the pants and the shirt. When I was a teenager, I remember where I think that was more of the hard and still a quiet part where I was going through a phase, but I'm a teenager now, so your mind bubbling and everything like that. Where I had to face my family where there was still the godly aspect on me, and because I'm under the age, they still have the right to do what they have to do. So there are times when they will talk about the Bible towards me and everything like that. But from the time I hit 18, like when you reach an adult stage, like you actually know. From the time they realize like this is who I am, they have accepted me. I would say that. But of course, there are one or two family members still talk about the Bible, and that they might probably say I will get burned up in hell and everything like that. But at the end of the day, majority of my family member accept me. I grew up in a church actually. There were times when I was young, when I used to wear boy clothes and everything like that. I guess when my mother get vexed with me, maybe she will prove
That's
me
the
no point.
punishment.
She will cut up my clothes. She will cut them up, and tell me about the Bible. But it's just the other day actually, I was talking to my mother and I asked her what she was getting from doing that. Because you cut up my clothes, but then I still receive the money and I would go back and buy the same clothes. So I just wanted a sense of humor to just understand like what was the purpose of that, you understand? I wanna hear her respond, but what I would say, at the end of the day, I know for other people it's rather difficult. I have individuals that message me here in St. Kitts actually even trying to get out of their own house. In the sense of we as family, sometimes we don't even know who our kids are.
Yeah.
And at a very young age, sometimes our kids are trying to figure out, are they trying to come and be like, Mommy, this is who I am. But because of the conversation that we have
Openly.
with our neighbor,
Yeah.
maybe our bigger child or whatever like that, it may not be talking about your particular child or family member. You may be talking about an openly gay guy, basically discriminating them, saying, oh, they should die and this and everything like that. You're actually playing a part in pushing your child as a DL in St. Kitts. And because of what I hear, the mothers and everything like that, you put them in a spot where I can't tell Mommy this is who I am here. So then that's where they start living a lie. And as you rightfully said earlier, half of these people, I would call them a part of the community, that they just don't identify a part of the community. Married man. married females as well. Some of these people are doctors, pastors, nurses,
Teachers,
of course.
principals. I was going next, and then I just held that one back.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, we can't forget the civil servants because they're all over.
Yeah.
All over.
And people are people. So
Yeah,
it really
definitely.
doesn't matter your profession. You know, we all bleed, we all have a heart, we all hurt. And, you know, even if it's not about your sexuality, being uncomfortable in your family situation is the worst thing ever. Where you can't feel comfortable to be yourself, to express who you truly are.
That's
Because,
true, because that's where suicidal thoughts
Yes.
Yes.
would play a big role. And sometimes too, I always tell people that we as society, we help people to push them into a mental state sometimes. And not even necessarily just a mental state. I mean, there are many people who like to go around and say, oh, it's a choice. And I always tell people, if being an LGBT person here in St. Kitts come with so many discrimination and everything like that, do you really think anybody in a good mind will choose to live this life?
well, I got a call or a message earlier, rather, and the person was saying, you know, we are to live by the Bible. And if you put a child in front of a situation like this and you're hiding from the child, you know it's wrong. So the point the caller was trying to make is that we can't propel nature, or nature will be hindered. There won't be any more procreation because of your choice. Man to man can't produce a child. Woman to woman can't produce a child.
But we can get a child.
Okay,
And
then.
we can build a family.
All right.
And some women can't have children. It doesn't make them any less women. And some men can't have children. It doesn't make them any less men. There's actually a biblical quote for that. Hold on, I got it.
Okay, sister.
You know I got one. I know it's on eunuchs. I've got it in here somewhere. I will find it. And it's actually talking about the eunuch. And Jesus actually says it, actually, in the New Testament. Jesus said about the eunuchs, he said...
Where's your chapter
It's
and
in
verse?
Matthew
Because our
19:12,
spiritual
because
leaders
you know they're
understand.
out there. Matthew 19:12 says, "For there are eunuchs who have been so from birth, and there are eunuchs who have been made eunuchs by others." That's another one there. And there are eunuchs who have made themselves eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom. And eunuchs are like either people who don't have sexual pleasure, or don't use their parts, or choose not to have relations. He's referring to people who choose not to, even though other people may be attracted to them, or they're born that way, that they have an issue with their sexual attraction. So Jesus even talks about attraction in the Bible. I think that we just have to see it in the context and stop using the Bible to judge others.
Interpretation.
It's just interpretation, yeah. You know, because there's only two fundamental things in the Bible. Love God, only God, and love each other. That's it. Everything else is just semantic. You could argue it, people will take it back and forth, but really, that's just two commandments, because if you're loving God and you're loving others, there's really no room for any of the other stuff. You're not going to hurt people. You're not going to talk about people. You're not going to blaspheme people. You're not going to murder people. You're not going to sleep with people's husbands. You're not going to do a lot of things if you love your brother and sister. If you love people like God and Jesus love you, you wouldn't do that to people. So try to follow your own advice, Christians. I'm a Christian. I'm following my own advice. I know some people are at home right now judging me like, I bet she's a lesbian.
They should see your face. And if you want to see her face, you can log on to our Facebook page and you'll see this lady here. Now, someone on the wall also says, Tynetta, she says, youth have a role to play in transforming what our future looks like. Throw out the stigma and the discrimination attached to persons' sexuality and appreciate the persons. We were talking about that today.
Yeah,
Appreciate
definitely.
the persons for their skills and character. Thank you for this conversation tonight. And let's build on that point. Like today we were talking about, you know, your community don't have in, right here in St. Kitts, I could say, well, they're not murderers and thieves and this and that. They're people just like us. Understand? And they have a heart and they're not out there committing any crime other than trying to live their life.
Yeah.
And that's hard for us.
So
to accept.
unless you're not out there having any relations, and I think it's also assumption too that everybody who is in the LGBT community is having relations. Like you could be an LGBT virgin, you could be saving it for your committed relationship. There's just a lot of different dynamics, and I think that our viewpoint is just a bit narrow. And we need to open it up because even in our own community, we know it's bigger than what we say it is.
Yeah.
You know, so like just open your eyes and be
And
honest.
truthfully, I mean, we were talking about coming out, but a lot of people are stuck with not trying to liberate themselves. So how can you liberate others? How can you lead and show us, you know, this is A from B when you yourself not sure about what you're doing for yourself? Are you hiding it and trying to put on this persona that, yeah, I'm a manly man and all that stuff when you know?
But some of those people that basically proclaim like that are part of the community.
Yes.
In the night. So I mean,
In the night.
sometimes leave you to wonder like, what is this about?
What is that about?
Yeah.
I've actually heard gay people criticize other people for coming out. Like, oh, he came out, he's so gay. And I'm looking at the person like,
You too.
you're gay. Like,
But the thing is,
I don't understand.
I mean,
But
everybody gonna come out at their own time.
yes.
So I would never force somebody to come out.
No.
Everybody
for
will
me-
come out at their own time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but for me, if you know, like, that you yourself, like, to judge somebody else, don't say anything then.
Yeah, don't
like,
say anything.
They
Don't
came
say
out,
anything.
don't criticize them coming out. If you know you yourself are struggling, then be like, oh, like, it's really inside you, like, I wish I could come out.
And
But
it's
I
really
think-
that, you know.
yeah.
It's really that.
And I think
They
in the
wish
Caribbean,
themselves-
we live a lot through the eyes of others.
Yeah.
So it's also the situation with coming out to your parents because they're like somehow it affects the gene pool. Like, like somehow it affects the parent. Like you're a bad parent because you had a LGBT child, but it doesn't make you a bad parent. If you don't accept your child, if you don't
You're a
love
bad
your
parent.
child,
Oh,
then
yeah,
now you're a
yeah.
bad parent. If you sit with others and judge your child and mock your child and call your child names and make your child feel bad about who they are as a human being and growing up and their identity, because identity is a huge part of our personality. It's a huge part of who we become, how we see ourselves, how others see us. So when people are telling you feel good about yourself and people are telling you you're bad, 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 it really shapes your identity. And it's in the music and it's in the culture and it's in the church and it's in the society and the judgment. And it's got to be hard for anybody. Nobody would want to be in that situation. I can understand what you meant earlier when you said who would choose that.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about tolerance. I don't think we've spent enough time talking about tolerance. That's a big word to me. Simply just let people be, respect them for who they are, and so on. Now, tell us some of the issues that your community is struggling with.
Yeah, so you say you're peer to peer.
Well, as we mentioned a lot for the night, stigma and discrimination. It's basically general headline. And some of the things that we got to understand here in society is that when you stigmatize somebody and everything like that, we actually putting them in a shell. And some of these individuals will shy away from even accessing health services.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's say we are blaming the community for the HIV virus, but you are also playing a part in pushing that community away. Because I mean, if I'm gonna be stigmatized by going to the health center to get a test and tell them that I'm attracted to my same sex and everything, like I'm not gonna go. I'm really not gonna go. So I mean,
And that
also
in
to-
itself is a simple
Yeah, definitely.
increase, eh?
also we put a blame on the DL. But then sometimes we have to look at them and say, society is actually the reason why we have DLs. You understand? Because the way how society ridiculify them or probably verbally harass them and everything like that. You see your peer come out and because of what he went through, you decide, boy, it makes sense to just stay in Michelle.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody know about me and everything like that. So for me, as I always say, society is the reason why we have downloads. And the only issue I actually have with DL is those that actually play a part in discriminating those who are out. That's the only issue I have with them.
Me too.
Shantai says, big up Tiny for always speaking up for us. Another one on the wall says, that is a part of the problems we LGBTQIA persons face.
She's doing the A though.
Yeah,
Many-
definitely.
Edify those who don't know.
I is intersex, which are people who sometimes don't have clear sexual like it's more sexual orientation than a gender orientation. So like people don't know that sometimes people are born with a uterus and a part of a penis, or a clitoris and no uterus. Or like sometimes gender is not so clear cut as people think. It's not always black and white. So you always have intersex, and then you have asexual. That's the last one, right?
Yeah. Many back to what the point was. That is a big part of the problems we LGBTQIA persons face. Many people feel as though we are less human and undeserving of respect because we are homosexual. Then Shanti say, "Hey Cam, hey Naima."
Yo, big up yourself, boy.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So, I think there needs to be more talk and more action and more representation. And this coming out here, because it's a big deal. I don't think it's been done here on this level before, where young people are saying, this is who we are and we are going to be here. You might as well learn to live with us and accept who we are.
Yeah, and definitely. And you have people with, past comment and say, oh, y'all pushing y'all life on us and everything like that. Nobody pushing their life on us. We are just saying this is who we are. And we are human as well. We are the same people that may help you. You understand? There are people that I know would say, oh, I'd rather have a gay friend than a straight man. And as I say, y'all go with awareness and education.
Yeah.
Because, even for instance, just recently we had a project going on where we basically take it from like word on the street, but we were going around asking questions about the community. Like one of the first things that we ask people to identify what do you think the LGBTIQ mean? And even up to that, people in St. Kitts don't even know what it mean. What it mean. And one of the other questions I remember we asked is why do you think men are afraid to have a public friendship with a gay friend?
Yeah.
And most men respond by saying, they're basically concerned of what the peers think or society think.
So it's what other people think, yeah. I think it's always funny that people think that every gay man is attracted to every man.
No,
or like every lesbian is attracted. Like, I have a type, you don't have a type?
Exactly.
Yeah, so like, it's like, they don't want
Is it basically a male and a female? It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
There are sometimes we have people saying like, oh, these gay people disrespectful and everything like that. I'm not going to say there are not one or two gay people that not disrespectful, but this is what happened in a heterosexual life as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're standing up on a female and a man will come and basically sexually harass you.
Yeah.
So if you look appealing, somebody's gonna approach you. I don't think if a gay man approach you and say, hey, how you doing? If you give you off like, this is not me, they will leave you alone.
Yeah.
And I don't think a gay man will just willfully walk up to a man just like that.
No.
Obviously, you either have to give them some kind of sign or they do some kind of research.
But I'm just going to say,
you
know your community. You know exactly.
I don't want to tell a story because it will tell them. But like, I remember being at a music fest and I was with a friend of mine who is a gay man, openly gay, and he had spotted this other man, and he was like, "Okay, Naeem, I want you to go over and talk to this man for me."
Y'all, we have an overseas call coming in. Let's pause to hear what this says. Oh, seems like we lost the caller.
They're going to come back.
Please call back. Call back.
And I was like, no. And I said, okay, I'll go on over. So I went over, like I thought, yeah, he's kind of cute. Like you could get this one, And I went over, I chat and I was going to go speak, but I went to my friend who was there and she was like, no, he's not gay. He's married. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went back and I was like, oh, he's not gay. He's married. And he was like,
the caller is back.
And he was like, okay, Naeem, I want you to go over and talk to this man for me.
Y'all, we have an overseas call. Hello? Nobody there. Call back now. Try again. We want to hear from you. Active? No? Okay, we're not hearing anything, but do call back.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, go right ahead.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I want to weigh in on that issue. May I?
What we're here for?
Yes, I want to weigh in on that issue that you guys talking about. about this gay situation, right? Hello, hello.
We're hearing you. Go right ahead.
Yes. The point what I want to weigh in on that I mean, anti-man is not the issue, no. Anti-man is not the issue in saying kids. Do you know what is the issue?
Right ahead. Tell us what you're thinking.
Okay, anti-man is not the issue. The issue is being poor, because once you get and you have status and asset and those things, guys would compromise. But once you get and you don't have nothing, nobody wants to be socializing with you or talking to you because you don't have much, you don't have a good paying job. So anti-man is not the issue. It's being poor is the issue. Because if an anti-man poor and he hang around with somebody who got status, or maybe like a minister or government or somebody got status, they may compromise, but anti-man could never be the issue. It's being poor.
All right. Thank you, caller.
He's saying it's social status.
That's just it. I'm just going to say it's about your social status.
I didn't know where he was going with that, but when he came in, I was like, "Ooh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good point,
yeah. He
caller."
has a good point. And I mean, even in heterosexual relationships, that's pretty much it too.
Yes.
I mean, some people say I'm not going to be associated with this person for one reason or the other, but I get the point. It's highlighted here. You, in a way, he's saying you're more accepted if you have finances and reach, rather than if you're just poor and gay, as he put it. Yeah.
Because wealthy gay men live just fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
So-
Wealthy gay men are living just
Well,
fine.
some of them.
Are living just fine. So that's what he's saying.
And some of them are on the DL,
Yeah.
as we've been saying, and as it is.
Yeah, but also when you think about what he's saying makes sense, because you're not really dependent on anybody else for your resource. So then you wouldn't have to really suffer under the stigma and discrimination in the same way as a person who depends on others would under that. So I see the logic in what he's saying. But I'm going to stop him at anti-man, because that's not a term we need to be using, anti-man. And it doesn't even make sense. If you are against man, which is what anti means, that means that you are, like, that doesn't make sense. If you're against man, you wouldn't love man. So a man who loves a man can't be an anti-man because he loves man. Maybe he's an anti-woman. So maybe we need to change the term to anti-woman, because I've never understood the term anti-man. It just is oxymoronic.
I think it's not even English.
It's not.
It's not. So, I mean, I think we've been having a good conversation, very
good
deep
comment.
conversation, and we want to thank you for your comment. I don't think we thought about it like that. We would have been thinking about, social status, but you brought it right down for our understanding. It has to do with your reach,
It's your
your
reach.
resources, and what you're able to give. So I want to be
Great
accept.
caller.
Yeah, good point, caller. Tiny, let's talk some more. What more do you want to share?
For me, before I came here, I got some quotes from some individuals in the community that
Oh,
I
love
wanted me to share.
Yes, we
Okay.
like that.
So I will just share a couple of them.
All.
I hope everybody's listening. Hail up when you hear your quote. Give a big up to Tiny.
Well, first of all, one of my colleagues wanted me to let all LGBTQ members out here in St. Kitts and Nevis that you're not alone, that we all one. And then some of the other quotes are, we are entitled to our own rights too. We are just as important as you. And, well, I mentioned this one earlier where they basically mentioned we are doctors, lawyers, politicians, teachers, pastors, and civil servants too. And we all have our own truth, so why can't I live in mine? Those are just some quotes that, some individuals from the community asked me to say for them.
On the wall, we have that, on Facebook, actually. Someone says, Leslie Joseph says, excellent point, caller. People value your things more than they value you. That is all part and parcel of a major social problem here in St. Kitts Nevis. Another person says, Randall, he says, but the classism issue in itself in our society is a problem. It's not just for members. I think I brought out that point when I say it's not just for members of the LGBTQI plus community. but also heterosexual community as well. While the caller has a point, I think it's more than just about being rich or poor. Yes, caller, we did say that as well. It's more than just being rich or poor. It's more to it, but it has some credit to it as well.
It's very dynamic. It's a very dynamic. It's not even an issue. It's just a dynamic. It's something that we need to talk about, but it has a lot of dynamic angles. It's a lot of. It's not what people think. It's a much more complex. It's not black and white like people think.
More again on the Facebook page, Randall again comments and say it's not only in St. Kitts Nevis, but I think
Yes.
it's an issue that affects mostly all the countries in the Caribbean region.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I mean, some other Caribbean countries are ahead of us in terms of tolerance and acceptance. Barbados, is a whole different level there.
Which is confusing though, because a different level now. Yes,
Yes.
now they are. Yes,
They are on a different level there. Recently as well, Peter Wickham, the big Barbados journalist, he recently married. I don't think he lives in Barbados. He probably lives
I
overseas.
think he does live. He still lives in Barbados, I think, but his partner was from overseas.
Yeah.
He was involved with that partner for a long time. They
A
were in a
long-
committed relationship for
Yes.
over 10 years.
Yes, so they recently got married, and he has expressed that he is living his life openly and he's happy with what he is doing. So, I mean, you see that things are happening across the Caribbean,
Yeah.
and pretty soon, I mean, the St. Kitts Nevis Alliance for Equality don't seem like they'll be sitting down and shutting up anymore. They say they're ready to push their agenda because everyone has an agenda. We all have things that we want to see moving in our direction, and it's for their betterment. It's for the betterment. Because if everybody in St. Kitts understand each other, a lot of the hate that we have not talked much about tonight will dissipate. I
was
mean,
just thinking
you're passing. I've seen this time and time again on the strip. A gay couple, gay people, because we don't know who is who, they pass and there are lots of fireball and kick him in his days and, unwarranted. They ain't provoke nobody. They come out to dance like everybody. And they themselves have their own little challenge because nobody can say nothing if Cam walk up on the next girl. You understand? But if they see, and again, they more accept two ladies dancing on each other, but you'll never see it plainly in St. Kitts.
In St. Kitts, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You'll
in
never
Barbados,
see it.
I didn't get
But
that
Barbados,
good response
I
at
just
all.
told you Barbados is a whole
It's very
different
different,
thing
yeah.
going on there. You have never seen it in St. Kitts Nevis where they actually men and men dancing on each other because they're still very much conscious. As much as they want to live their own life, they're trying to live in peace
Yeah.
and avoid conflict
And drama.
and drama. Because some of them could real fight, we know this. Some of the who we want to say,
Listen, there was a lot of abuses of homosexuals in Jamaica until Jamaican homosexuals started to make gangs. When you start to see some of them big gangsters, big muscle. I remember meeting like a big muscle man on the plane.
And
was
then
like,
he
"Yeah, I
take
just
off,
come
he
from a
wig and
party,"
drop it on the
like,
ground and he say, come on a blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop troubling them.
All
They
your
start
wait,
fighting
we're getting
back,
an
you know?
overseas call, so let's hear what's happening here. Caller? Just give me a few seconds there. We're going to get to you so
Our
we could
technical
hear you
assistance
just
is
now.
arriving.
Yeah, I'm going to get it just now.
Our man
Hi,
Friday,
caller.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Yes, good night. You hearing me?
Yes.
Yes, I want to add to your point, right? That you were saying that like you don't know who is gay. That's a point. But the new type of gay right now, that they're not gay by the flesh, they're not gay by natural, but within the heart they're gay. So you don't know who is gay because you don't know if this man picking up this. You don't know if this man picking up this guy. You don't know. You don't know if they have a relationship or anything. So the new type of gay now that they don't behave so, they don't move so, they don't act so, but within the heart they are gay because the Bible says what's in a man's heart, and so he is it. So the new type of gay is that they don't act gay, they don't move gay, but within the heart they are gay, and their feelings and their emotion is gay. So that is the new type of gay. So you will never know who is gay. So it's two guys walk down the road. You know, I know they is gay. Then I know. They move gay. They move normal. They smoke up and they're going on and they're chilling and they drink and they laugh. But you don't know they is gay. Because they don't behave so. But in the heart they are gay. So I just want to check your point if that's not a problem. Hello?
No, man, no problem at all. This
Yeah.
is what this program is about. We're here to
And
talk
but
to
yeah, but
young people, to bring the
exactly.
conversation that they really want to talk about. So we welcome
But
your calls, and you could call back anytime. Thank.
yeah, but that is what I'm saying. That even that this person is gay, they don't have a good job. There's a cleaner, and they don't have they have a skill. They discriminate them. But right now, I can tell you on the grounds in St. Kitts, you have to get status. You have to get status because once you're poor and you don't have nothing to your name, you won't get no friends like that. You won't get no friends. But once you have a good paying job and you have a car and a luxury house, you get guys. You get guys. I can guarantee you that. You can get guys. They compromise. They want to roll with you because you have something you have something for them that they could use. You understand? So, but once you poor, they sideline you, they reject you. You understand? They want to talk with you, nothing at all. But if you got the asset and you got this and you got that, then you got the majority. That is much I can tell you. I thank you.
All right, we thank you also. Yeah,
I
he's.
wanted to ask the caller before he went to what was the new type of gay.
Well, he explained the new type of gay.
Because it's gay
He
in the
said,
heart.
he said you don't look like what we perceive you to say. You look apart.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the things that he was trying to basically explain is that you basically go on the strip and you will see two guys hanging and drinking. But then they might just probably be two gay men
Yeah.
chilling in a relationship.
Yeah.
But he's saying, no, in this day and age here in St. Kitts, you want to see them like roll out to say, I am gay or whatever. But
Yes.
those may be two down low gay men just hanging out. And we must see them, but we don't judge them. But let two openly gay guy walk on the
I
street.
understand now.
You see a totally different. So that's what he's saying. The new guy.
Yes.
He's saying the new style basically is to
Yes.
It's
so
to
you're
act.
basically damaging some people, damaging their own self as well. Because to actually live a lie and to act like
Yeah, that's a heavy
it's
weight
heavy.
to carry.
It's a heavy weight
That's
to
a
carry.
heavy weight. I feel
Yeah,
like that would be a
definitely.
burden. I think also though with the the word themselves don't belong to themselves, but really the context in the society. Like you're saying, if you see two guys, you don't know that they're gay, right? But we have a context of what we think is gay.
Yeah.
If we didn't start with a belief, there would be no conclusion. We wouldn't have jumped to the conclusion they're gay if we didn't already think we have an idea of what's gay. And I remember going to Japan once, and we had a guy who was leading our group, and he was actually, I was in Taiwan, and he was really gay. Like, I don't know, like, I don't want to judge people by their construct, but he was very effeminate and like totally afraid of this girl that was out. And I was like, well, it's obviously he's afraid of her. He's gay. And he didn't even at the time know he was gay. He didn't come out for another 3 years. And then he called me from Taiwan to tell me he was gay. But when I had said to his partner was like, what do you mean gay? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, what would make him be gay? And then I realized that in Taiwan, they didn't have a construct of gay like we did. So wearing effeminate clothing wasn't gay. Having a feminine movement wasn't gay. Speaking with that wasn't gay. So it's really how a society constructs its gayness, as we like to say, as how we judge others. Because
And
not
it's-
every society sees it the same way.
And I just was going to say it's just as individualistic as we are in how we speak and so on. So we have our own very uniqueness of what we perceive is gay. But we are open space now, and we see that more of the influences from across the world are slowly getting here, where people saying, I am who I am. Whether it's about, I mean, even children in school are now saying, why should I cut my hair? I have a right to wear my hair. So what is it for people in the LGBTQ community to say, I am here?
All right. How do we decide who gets rights and who doesn't get rights? One day it might be tall girls don't get rights, and then we're out.
No, that will never happen.
Then we're out, Camilla.
That will never happen. Yeah, I mean, on the wall, I keep saying wall, but on the Facebook page, there's a conversation going on between themselves are talking about.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so we're doing our part to make sure that the conversation is continued. So the last point made on the wall by Leslie, she said, or he said, I can't be sure. We're just like everyone else, really. Very little on, very little off. Yeah, people.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually really proud of some of the young people because I find more and more a lot of the young even men are identifying openly as bisexual. And it's not to say, oh, cheer on someone's sexuality, because you really shouldn't care about people's sexuality. But that people are claiming their identity. If that's what you feel that you identify with, then you should claim with how you identify and be proud to claim how you identify. So I just want to say, even to you guys here, even though I know we're not leaving just yet, like, I think it's really great that you would come out and there's no shame. So when people are like, oh, you know, and that person came on, and they was like, you shouldn't have a shame. You know, if we have shame in our everyday lives, then continue your shame, but we're not supposed to expose and put our shame on others.
You know,
that's definitely true. So one of the things that we as an organization do is help individual in the community to work on their self-acceptance. I think once you accept yourself and say, this is who I am, there's nothing nobody out there can say.
Really?
That
most
could really
definitely
stop you.
And you know, to add to that point, parents, I say this every week, we have a big role to play. I mean, we are supposed to be our children's biggest cheerleader and to encourage them and to talk to them and to be able to identify what's happening with them. I'm not talking about sexuality only. I'm talking about the holistic child, so that your child can be so comfortable, they won't come say, I feel a type of way when A, B, C happen.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know? Because we cut down our children too much. Before they even talk, shut up.
Yeah. And that's a great lesson, because we've been here 4 weeks, and 3 weeks we've been able to talk about how parents have really affected children.
Yeah, and
we had
definitely.
in our teen mother, Leslie was still feeling about, even though she's like, I don't have any trauma, she was still feeling a way about this parent that had spoken about her 15 years before. Like, you can see that's still something that upsets you, because, like, why would they judge me? Then last week we had the young lady whose parent didn't even believe her, and then believed her and didn't even help her.
Yeah.
You know, and so we have to look at ourselves as parents and see we have a certain responsibility.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
A major responsibility. And talking about last week's show, it will be aired tomorrow at 1:30 on Issues. So if you didn't get to listen in entirety last week to the sexual abuse episode that we had last week, you can have an opportunity to listen tomorrow from 1:30. I think what we've been doing here over the last month has been incredible. I see other radio programs are continuing the conversation, because it's really time that we address real issues with real people.
That's the time.
That's definitely what we have to do. So, you know, the challenges that we face, if we are honest with ourselves, they really will disappear. And if we meet people where they are and try to understand who they are as individuals and see them as people before penis or vagina or anything else about their sexuality. Tiny, what say?
Yes, you know.
We can say that on the show. It's freedom, penis and vagina.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I just want to strengthen the point on parents, especially parents. I mean, one of the things that we're facing right now is a lot of these teenage boys. Like, for example, a lot of these teenage boys, having conversation with some of them. I'm not saying that they're necessarily gay, but I mean, sometimes I think the point where a lot of people go around and talk, oh, it's a choice. Sometimes we as parents actually push your child into that field as well. So I'm not even gonna say that, oh, some people is not a choice for some people, because sometimes it end up to be a choice. Like, for example, I'm a teenage boy going to school, and this is real life situation that happened. And you know, you go home to your mother. Sometimes it's just simple, buy a pair of shoes. And because you know you constantly get no, probably you know a lot of teenage parents, there are a lot of teenage mother out there, and they really can't support, or they don't have it to support the kids. And sometimes, you know, because you don't have it, and you put yourself in that situation, you really don't have it. You also put your child out to go out to these people. And some of these teenage boys, they don't necessarily know what they're doing, but they're going out to these senior males and get caught up into the act. And as I say, some of them don't necessarily know what they're doing.
Yeah.
There are some that just do it because
it's transactional. They need things.
I pair of shoes.
All
I think
20
we
years.
kinda
And that's
mentioned
not
that-
even brand new. 20 years. I've been in the schools for 20 years. That's been happening.
Yeah, I think we
definitely.
spoke about
It's much,
that
much
bit
worse now,
last
I
week,
find.
where, you know, people get caught up not even being able to identify their own sexuality based on things that happened in their childhood.
Yeah.
and you were mentioning it, I think sometime there when
I
you
said I had a client who I get male clients who are confused about their sexuality because they've been abused by men, and then they're like, okay, so am I gay now because I had sex with a man, but it was by force, and so that also is a bit challenged. That's why I said identity issues are very complex.
And then you added by saying, some girls are now hiding their
Yes.
sexuality behind tomboy clothes to avoid being sexually abused by men. So this thing is more than just penis and vagina, because it's boy, a whole messed up situation if
It
you
is.
really think about
It's very
it.
complex, and that's why there's such a need for tolerance and not for judgment. Because when you were saying earlier about choice, sometimes it's not your choice. Sometimes it's actually somebody else's choice that they made and they put upon you, and now you have to
Pick
find
up the
your
pieces.
identity and pick up the pieces of your
Yeah,
identity.
definitely. And sometimes too, you live in your life and you have questions being thrown at you. Oh, what a woman will do, what a man will do. And there are sometimes I respond to individuals and be like, the same thing that you do at home. I mean, sometimes when we think about sex, a lot of people here think about sex as penis and vagina. And even in a heterosexual life, there are so many other things when it comes to sex. It's just not about penis and vagina.
Intimacy.
I mean, there are people out there that don't even like penetration. You don't have to be gay to like penetration. And sometimes we see it as they use it as they use sex to discriminate the LGBT community, to say, oh, God said penis and vagina and everything like that. And then, sometimes I laugh at some of them and tell them that, that's why some of these same girls that you think are running to us.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, I always tell people that I'm mostly attracted to straight females.
Yeah.
And I'm being honest when I say that.
And I find interesting too that people don't really talk about the amount of anal sex that people have. But like, if you have a problem with you're in a heterosexual relationship having anal sex,
What did
like
we
it's
talked
just the
about
sex,
the
yeah.
hypocrisy.
It's
Hypocrisy.
basically the same thing.
It's the same thing.
And there are a
Double
lot of
standard.
females out here, I'm sure,
Yes.
having anal sex now.
Yes.
Which there's some people, I got to do it because I don't want my man to go with the next man.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing that you're doing.
Yeah. And sometimes the girls are doing it to maintain their virginity. That's what they used back in the day. That was how they kept their virginity. They thought they had. I
So
think
your
if
mother
it goes
is
in
only.
your,
Oh yeah.
she's
It's-
only checking your hymen. She's
Yeah.
not really checking your anus. So that's kind of a rough
Yeah,
road,
that's
though.
true,
Come on, guys.
because
it's a rough road.
we had a workshop on the weekend.
Yeah.
And he had a lady basically was giving a story, and she said that I think he's saying it's actually happened, where this young lady, her mom used to always carry her to the doctor to check for her virginity.
Her hymen, yeah.
And after a couple of months,
She
this
got-
young lady got
yeah.
HIV.
Yeah.
And when she mom went to the doctor, my daughter is a virgin, so how did she get HIV? And her mom actually fainted in the doctor's office when she found out that it was anal sex that she was doing. And I mean, sometimes
That's her choice because she
Yeah.
was forcing her daughter in that intrusive way. And parents, please stop doing that to your daughters. Please, I beg you.
The
Stop going
thing
to check.
is to have the conversations very
Yeah.
early.
Yeah, definitely.
Very,
I mean,
very early.
And talk
having-
the truth with your children.
Yeah.
Huh? Just talk the truth. Don't
Yeah,
tell them
but-
like everybody knows your story. Don't
I mean,
tell them to
even
different
at a very
story.
young age, you gotta talk to your kids
Yeah.
about sex. You don't have to be gay to talk about sex or
No, you
anything
don't.
like that. I mean, sex is sex. You understand?
Sex and love
Just-
and
yeah.
intimacy.
I mean, in this day and age, I don't think that it's right for us to tell people to abstain. You encourage them to just protect themselves. Use condoms. You got oral dam. You have other things to protect yourself. You understand? And as I always tell people, is that we focus too much on the openly gay people, but sometimes we really need to focus on our background. Because those are the one that actually, those downloads, I always say those are the one that actually put us at more risk.
Yes.
That you don't know. So
Correct.
when you think that you're married and you and your husband good, you don't know what your husband doing after
That's
10.
correct.
Ain't gotta
And
be
then
that
also
time.
your husband can't really come home and have protected sex with you. So if you're going out and you're having unprotected sex, you're coming home and you're bringing your wife diseases because when you decide you want to put on a condom and your wife's going to say, we don't use a condom.
Yeah,
Why would we be
definitely,
using a
definitely.
condom?
And it go
So
both
really
ways too,
increases- Yeah.
Because we have married females that actually go with females. Because some of them, there are many reasons. Some of them might be like, oh, because my husband don't please me or whatever like that. I mean, there's so many scenarios where
Or it's also I find a lot of intimacy.
Yeah.
You know, our men are not really that great at intimacy. No disrespect to the men, because the man there was bashing. I'm not disrespecting it. It's just we're not raised for our men to have intimacy. They think it's feminine intimacy. And, you know, every woman has a little masculine side in her, and every man has a little feminine side. But if you're only ever developing your masculinity, your hyper masculinity, and you don't have that side, what does the woman connect to in you? If you don't have any intimacy, no vulnerability. So a lot of the times women also find vulnerability in other women, and they connect intimately in a close way, and then it evolves into something sexual.
Like, for example, I had to tell a lot of these men that, you know, they would be like, oh, I not left no woman for us and everything like that. And there sometimes I tell them, you know, maybe when you go home and have sex with your wife, actually do some foreplay first. Because, I mean, she's a female and she needs to be pleased as well. There are too many times, as I mentioned, that we think about penis and vagina. And really and truly, when you focus on penis and vagina, that's where you're losing your partner. Because, I mean, as I said again, I will say it again, I'm attracted to straight females. Where I say straight females, because, you know, sometimes you approach a female, they will be like, oh, I strictly dickly. But have a conversation with them, talk to them, and tell them what they need to hear. Then you realize that, oh, there's something else. There's something else.
Yeah,
definitely.
because it's something else you're looking for.
Well, guys, it's almost 9 o'clock. Can you believe it already?
I can. You know, it goes so fast when we have a really interesting
all the time. But before you leave, though, I've been hearing you throughout the conversation talking about projects and workshops and so on. I want to hear a bit more about that type of thing, like the alliance in itself, the organization, and how people could reach out and contact you guys.
All right, so some of the things that we do, I mean, as we rightfully mentioned, we focus on the HIV aspect. So we basically have the service of rapid testing at the office.
Oh, there's an office, you see?
Yes, we do have an office.
Good,
so
where?
You can get rapid testing.
Where?
Wow, I didn't know that.
Where?
So the office is at Fort Lance.
Okay.
Right? So we offer rapid testing, and of course, if you have any other health issues and everything, like, you can reach out to us and we'll assist you by probably contacting doctors that connect with us and work with us. So you won't have to think about, oh, I have to come out or anything like that.
Your shadow network.
Doctors that partners with us. And also too, we partner with other regional organizations for different training sessions and everything like that. Like for the self-empowerment training, we have security training, because also too, we as the LGBT community have to protect ourselves and secure ourselves. And there are certain things that we can do to protect ourselves from discrimination. Like, for example, some of these social media
bullies.
Yeah, I mean, not only bullies, but, you know, we have these apps where we can link up with people and everything like that. Sometimes we put ourselves in danger as well.
Like the Tinders.
So that's one of the things that we try to educate.
Cybersecurity.
And also, too, I mean, like, one of the things I'm always tell my colleagues is, you know, one of the things that we have to practice is, let's say we're going to a dance tonight. It's not always good to post a picture and say, hey, I'm going to be at Frigate Bay. Sometimes you could post a picture a week after.
Yeah, man.
Because you have to protect yourself.
Yeah.
If 10 people post and say we're going to be at Frigate Bay, you basically make way at a target.
Yeah.
You know this is the world that we're living in. So sometimes we have to protect ourselves.
That's smart.
So we do training session when it comes to security and everything like that. And there are other training sessions that we do, because, I mean, we communicate with the population, and based on what they want, we'll do. Like, for example, we had a focus group with some females here in St. Kitts, because one of the things we find that the lesbian and bisexual woman get lost in the picture, and the focus is always on MSM, where I am a female, so, you know, of course, my focus will be around female as well. So we had a focus group basically asking individuals to tell us what issues they face and everything like that. And we also asked them, like, what are some of the things that you would like to see be done by the organization? Which was happy that a lot of people actually mentioned that, oh, we should consider having a pride here in St. Kitts. So, I mean, maybe that's something in the works. That you actually see that people in the community that actually want to come out and enjoy themselves and everything like that. And most people mention that they want more awareness on women's health. So that's something that we're going to look into to start doing, because as I said, we focus most on the males. So now we're going to look into some sessions and everything like that for the LGBT, the
LGB, yeah.
LBT women.
LGB, yeah.
We can't forget the transgender
too,
people,
yeah,
because we do
LGBT,
have
yeah.
transgenders here in St. Kitts.
Yeah.
And they also face a whole nother
Yeah,
level.
whole
of stigma.
different level.
Another level.
So
Yeah.
definitely can't forget them.
And you're saying it's Nevis Alliance, right?
Yes.
So you do support for Nevis as well.
Definitely.
Just a boat ride.
And
Just a
as I
boat ride.
mentioned, that we have collaboration with regional. And
Regional.
even here in St. Kitts, we do collaborate, because as I always say, is that everybody entitled to human rights. So we
Yep.
collaborate with the disability organization. We collaborate with the women's organization, because as much as we all have different issues and different beliefs, you could be disabled, but they do have LGBT people that are disabled.
Yes.
And you could be a woman in problem, but you can be a part of the community as well. And also too, some of these different communities face the same issues. So if we have a session, like for example, we just had a workshop recently, and we actually invite the disabled group and everything like that, and having somebody from that group at the session. After the session, they reach out to us and say, "Can you guys come in and speak to our individuals?" And we went, because that's the only how we're gonna grow.
Yeah, by networking.
Yeah, definitely. So we do it regionally and locally.
I think you've done an excellent job. I don't think the association could have a better lead, because I don't think there could be a better lead than you. You have been very clear, and you seem to have down pat what the vision is, and you have your plans in place. I'm very proud of you. I'm very impressed.
Thank you, but
Yes.
it still come from a lot of people behind there. A lot of people behind me that actually made this possible,
Yeah,
That's
Because,
good. See there, that's the humility in the
like
leader
it.
right away. Say,
So
I
you-
have my great team behind me.
Definitely, because 5 years ago I would never come here and speak, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So-
a great growth.
Yeah, definitely.
And Naima was mentioning before access to funds. So make
gonna talk
sure
when you're done.
Yeah,
you
definitely
talk
we're gonna
about that.
that.
And your group is registered with.
Yes, currently we're registered as a community group here.
Okay.
And we are actually in the process of upgrading our status to an NGO.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Okay. Excellent.
Very well. You're on your way. I want to thank you for coming out. I want to thank your moral support as well. I want to thank Naima. The month is done, but
Oh,
I
I'm gonna miss
know
you so much,
I don't
Camilla.
think we're gonna be far apart, because I bring the realness and you bring the balance of the facts, and so that's important, that we could have the law on this side and the psychological side, because I don't know everything. I just know how I feel.
You
Right?
do a good job.
She was doing me. All right. I want to thank you guys
Come
for
back, Camilla.
tuning in. Naima, I thank you so much.
Thank you for
Tiny, I
having
thank
me.
you so much.
problem.
I
Thank
think
you
this
for
has
having
been an excellent opener, because the LGBTQ community, and I'm sure they're going to add the I and the A just now. They're not going anywhere. They're
Yeah,
here.
definitely. We're here to stay.
That's right. And make their voices heard. So until next time, people, thank you for tuning into Youth Beat. Keep safe. Drink your water and mind your business. Good night.
You need to drink their water and mind their business.
Come children, say it loud. Make them know we're still black and proud.